Hello viewers, this is Sunil Gurjar. Welcome to my channel Investing Supervision. So today in this video I am going to talk about the 10 most important points which you need to remember before taking any sort of positions in the stock market. So these are the 10 most important points which you need to keep at the back of your mind before trading into the stock market. So starting with the first point. The first point is you should not be risking more than 2% of your capital in the single trade. So let's say you are taking your positions in the company, let's say you have 1 lakh rupees in your hand, and if you want to do intraday trading, so then in that sort of trade you should not be risking more than 2% of your capital. So in the sense, if you are taking intraday call, then you should not be buying more than 2,000 of your principal amount in that sort of trade. So the first point is that don't risk more than 2% of your capital which you have as a principal. And the second point is select the stocks with liquidity and the minimum volatility. So whenever you trade in the stock market, always remember these things, that if the company is not having volatility and if the company is not having good amount of volume in the stock market, then it doesn't make any sort of sense to trade into that sort of company. So if you are trading in the stock market, then it is very imperative that the company should be having good amount of fluctuations. When I say fluctuations, in the sense the company should be going through more ups and downs. So this was nothing but the second point. And the third point is always put stop loss for every trade and decide the profit level. So let's say if you guys are trading in the stock market, and if you are taking intraday positions, so it is not an imperative situations for you to put the stop loss for your swing trade positions or the positional trade, but it is very mandatory to put the stop loss and the profit level for the intraday positions. So let's say there is a counter called Kadila Healthcare, which is a trending stocks after all. So if you are trading into this company, then you should be knowing that what is going to be my potential upside, which is nothing as the profit level, and what is going to be the stop loss which I am going to put on this sort of company. So you have to decide stop loss and the profit level on the front stage only before taking your intraday positions. So it has got more things to do with intraday and less things to do with your swing trade and the positional trade. So this was the second point. Talking about the third point, it is that always put the stop loss and decide your target profit. So let's say if you are trading into trending stocks which is known as the Kadila Healthcare. So if you are trading into this company, then before getting into any sort of trade, you should be knowing that what is going to be my stop loss level and what is going to be my profit level. So if the company is hovering around like 560, and if you are keeping the target profit as 580, then you should always decide that at 580 I will be getting out from the trade, and if the trade goes against you, then 555 will be your stop loss as an hypothetical situation. So before taking your intraday positions, you should be setting the stop loss and the profit level on the front note only. So always remember this thing in your mind, that you have to use and you have to put the stop loss before taking your intraday positions. Now talking about the fourth point. The fourth point says that always wait for 20-30 minutes once the market opens at 9:15. So what happens is basically there are different sort of orders in the market, named as like after market order and pre-market and the post-market. So these are the different types of the market. So what tends to happen is there are many sort of people which are entitled as the domestic institutions. So these are the people who places the order in the early morning, like 9:15 or 9:20. So at that point in time, you guys would be getting too much of volatility, and if your research is very in depth, and if you have done the research in the appropriate manner, but then too your research might go wrong, because at that point in time the company is completely playing on the basis of the news, or I would say the bulk orders which has been placed by these big parties in the market. So basically this was the fourth point. And the fifth point is know the sector in which you are trading. So let's say if you want to trade into banking stocks, so let's say if you want to trade in the private bank stocks, then you should be knowing how does the bank nifty mechanize. So if it goes up, so you should be knowing that if bank nifty goes up by 100 points, what are the readings and what are going to be the readings of the company in which you are going to trade. So let's say if you want to trade in SDFC Bank, then you should be knowing the momentum of the daily momentum of the bank nifty and the SDFC. So in that manner you guys are supposed to take your intraday positions. So this was nothing but the 20-30 minute strategy which you need to follow before taking your intraday positions. And the sixth point is like stop loss is very must. I am telling you, see, like many research analysts and the avian personalities of the stock market says that the compounding or the CAGR is the most important, what do we call it, this is eighth wonder of the world in investment. So compounding and the compounded annually growth rate, which we call it CAGR is the most important aspects of the investment. In the same manner, in the trading we have stop loss. So stop loss is the eighth wonder of the world when it comes to trading. So be it intraday positions or be it your swing trade positions, you have to put stop loss in appropriate manner. So stop loss is very must. Always keep this thing in your mind before taking your any sort of positions. And the seventh point is, if you lose 2% of your capital, then stop your trading for that sort of day. See, I would say some or the other ways this stock market is run by, or it is influenced by many different sorts of people. So we have speculators, we have arbitrators, we have investors and the traders. Okay, so sometimes what happens, trade might go against you, or let's say there is some sort of turmoil or some sort of news with respect to the company in which you want to trade. So like some sort of time trade might go against you. So if you lose 2% of your capital in that sense, I would say stop the trading for that day. If you think of averaging your positions, I am telling you, you will be on the negative side and that will turn out to be a bad trade for you. So always keep this point at the back of your mind. Talking about the 8th point, I would say if you are trading, and in the trading, let's say if you are taking the intraday positions, so what is important into the intraday position is you should be knowing what is going to be the what is going to be the fluctuations of the company in which you want to trade. So if I could talk about the trending stocks in the market, then those will be like Voltas and the Coal India. So you should be knowing what is the daily volatility of these companies, and you so the main important point in the trading is you should be setting the realistic target. This is nothing but the 8th point says that you should be setting out realistic target. If the company is giving you, let's say, like 15% of volatility on day-to-day basis, you can't expect the company to give you the volatility of 20 rupees or 25 rupees. So we have to accept the fact that company is going to give you 15% of fluctuations in the day. So you should be setting out like realistic profit, and that makes sense after all. So this was the 8th point. So talking about the 9th point, see, this is what everybody tends to do in the stock market, that is like people average their positions. I am telling you, I could resemble this point with the earlier point which I talked about, the 2% loss. So if you lose your positions and if the trade goes against you, I am telling you, don't never average. So if you have lost your money, stop your trading for that day and we'll be looking the positions for the next day, and we'll be doing the analysis for next day. So don't average your positions, and this is the biggest, and I call it, this is the most expensive mistakes which is committed by the usual traders in the stock market. So you should be keeping at the back of your mind that I will not be averaging my trade if the trade goes against me. So this is the 9th point. Talking about the 10th point, so this is one of the most important points which you should be knowing while trading in the stock market, that is S&R levels. I call it support and resistance. So I have very good strategy with respect to your trading, and so swing trading. So be it any sort of positions, like it might be intraday, swing trade, positional trade. Always remember, I am telling you, and I give higher most weightage to this last point, is that you should always be buying at the support level and selling at the resistance level. And guys, I am telling you, believe me, this is one of the most important points to remember and keep at the back of your mind, because if the company is not having good amount of fluctuations, and if the company is not having good amount of the support and resistance, then you won't be able to set out your profit level and the stop loss price. Okay, so it's very important point to remember and important point to watch out for. So these were the points of the intraday trading or the swing trading or your trading part, and these are the important points which you need to remember before taking your any sort of positions in the trading. So in the same way, I'll be talking about many more things with respect to financial market in my upcoming videos. So till then, stay tuned, stay amazed, and see you in the next video.